If you'd like to overcome fear and get better at gap jumps, today's Back to Basics with Cam McCaul is one you won't want to miss.
If you're afraid of pythons, I can't help you. You know, you're at the sushi restaurant, you take a little ginger after the bad roll, and then you grab a new roll. You grabbed a new roll, and you cleared it perfectly. You can case this thing and be all right. It's not recommended.
Lay the bike down, come to a sliding stop at the edge.
And if a monkey jumps out of a tree and gets in your way and you have to stop, that's okay. You're gonna be like accomplishing so many things that scare you, and it's all about the process.
Dave, how do you feel looking at that feature?
I feel a lot better than I did a few minutes ago. It's coming in at speed with a sharp edge. Distance is no issue, it's just all in my head.
Okay. So of course, while we are mentally getting screwed by this feature, that we both feel is well within our realm of skills and abilities, should be easy. And we've been hitting stuff this size or bigger. It is really affecting us because we know we can do it and we're not. So today's resident pro, Cameron McCaul, is going to help us analyze and understand what's going on in our head. So Cameron, I know you've been talking a little bit about adding some skills, coaching, you know, kind of tutorial riding stuff to your repertoire. What would you do with people like us who are your students wanting to hit this gap? Start the process. Where do we go?
Well, it's a process that I love so much because I've been through it so many times myself. When you have something that you can visualize doing yourself, but for some reason you just can't flip the switch, pull the trigger and get yourself to do it. That's exactly the scenario you were in about an hour ago. Like, I've ridden with you enough times over the past, over a decade to know that that is nothing for you. And if you were to bridge that with wood, you would jump it without even doing a practice run. The only time you'd ever touch the bridge is if you were like playing and doing a nose press or something like that. But it's the consequence, it's the recognition that, hey man, I could get really messed up right now. And it's not irrational. So I love what we did earlier, sitting up there talking through all these things. And there are those steps to get yourself ready to do something in a way that's not reckless. And we went through those things, but you still weren't able to get yourself to do it because your brain was overriding your body. Even though you said, all right, 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna do it this time. Your brain just made your fingers lock up those brakes and stop. And the way you accomplished it, I think was really interesting, is you took yourself away from it for a little while because it straight up became a mental block. And that's different. Once it becomes a mental block, now you're starting a whole nother process. But you distance yourself from it. You're at the sushi restaurant, you take a little ginger after the bad roll, and then you grab a new roll. You grabbed a new roll, and you cleared it perfectly, and the huge smile on your face, and that was contagious. Dave saw you hit it. He didn't even have the right speed, but he went and hit it.
Yeah, I just sensed it. Yeah,
Yeah, so Dave, what were your thoughts? I mean, you've seen this less, right? Like, you got here late. This feature's been bugging me for like the better part of, days, but you've only seen it twice.
Yeah, I mean, today I came in and honestly, this is my first day riding this trail or trying to hit this part of the trail. Came in, or getting ready to go at the top. Jesse, the other guy riding with us, is like, oh, just follow me, I'll tip you off. And Drew's in the background kind of like, hey dude, this one's messing with my head. And I'm like, oh, it'll be no big deal. I'll hear Jesse come around the corner, come in full speed, see it, lay the bike down, come to a sliding stop at the edge. I got Cam coming in about 30 miles an hour behind me. I have no idea if he's gonna straight run me over.
Break.
So then I go around that and I'm thinking like, okay, I gotta get back and do this. And this was supposed to be a trial run, come down, test it out. And of course,
to film this video.
And the secret's out of the bag. Drew just straight sent it, which made me like, okay, I'm not gonna have the video all come down on me. So I just straight pulled with no speed. And for the record, Drew greased it and I clipped the back tire pretty heavy, but I'm here to tell the tale and with a big smile on my face.
Okay. So was there something about the jump in the couple times you've seen it that was worrisome? Was it just how sharp the gap or the landing was, or the size of the gap, or what was like hanging you up?
There's two things. One is when you come into it, there's a gap jump and then it kind of banks and it's loose over hard pack. So there's at no point where you can just like take a deep breath, settle the bike. You got to be either riding or pedaling all the way to it. And then it comes into view and it's just a wall on the other side, like with a sharp edge. So, turns out it's not a big deal if you hit it, but looking at it, it looks like pure death if you hit that thing, especially with the front tire, you would go flying.
Yeah.
And it's just the rolling. It's just sketch.
Okay. All right. So, Cameron, I think, you know, something that we talked about on the last part, and I think where this is going to be educational and hopefully helpful for other people, is you as a professional athlete and lots of other professional athletes, you're around each other and you are pushing yourselves regularly, and you've developed skills and gotten really good at having these conversations and visualizing and picturing stuff. And one of the last times that I, you know, chickened out, you were like, what went wrong versus like how you envisioned it? And I was like, oh, I didn't envision it, so no, I don't know. And he's like, oh, no, like, close your eyes and picture the whole run, the jump, and how it's going to look perfectly in your mind, and then repeat that physically. And I had never done that before, right? And what was the other piece of advice you said at the top before you dropped in?
Yeah, I'll jump in because there's something said to me that kept on repeating in my mind was just look at the landing. Just don't look down, just look where you want to go. And everything kind of falls away at that point, which is exactly kind of what I did when I decided, like, oh, Drew sent it, I'm just going to go for it. And I just looked out and passed the landing, and
yeah,
and here I am.
Yeah. So what you said to me about making your decision up, what's that advice?
Yeah, well, first, the part about Dave talking about looking at the landing, like, if you're a rider who doesn't jump, well, what would happen if you're riding a trail with no jumps and all you do is focus on the trees, right? You're gonna smoke those trees. So if now you're jumping and all you're focusing on is the worst place to put your tires, that's not gonna give you a lot of confidence. You need to look at the place where you wanna end up. But about the visualization aspect, you don't do something until you can picture it working in your head. Just don't do it yet. You're not ready yet. If you can't picture it in your head, you might not be ready for it. And if every time you picture it in your head something goes wrong, well, keep picturing it until everything goes right. And the thing I told you when you were up there is, well, first, yeah, I asked you, because you stopped on your run-in, what was different about when you went to try to physically do it compared to when you were visualizing it. You said you hadn't yet been visualizing it. So when we went down that rabbit hole, but the idea behind the visualization is you sit there about ready to roll in, you picture the whole thing happening in real time, and if your brain sped it up or slowed it down, start over. Just try to keep it as real time as possible. And you have to have enough of an understanding of what you're about to do so that you can visualize it. If you can't visualize it, you need more run-ins. So physically do it enough times, running in without hitting the jump, to where you can visualize it. And then once you're at the point where you can visualize it, make your decision whether you're doing it or not before you drop in. You don't want to be riding the run-in trying to decide if you're going to go for it or not. That decision takes place before you put your feet on the pedals and you go. And if a monkey jumps out of a tree and gets in your way and you have to stop, that's okay. But if you decided to do it and you drop in and you change your mind last second, well, you may have a mental block, and then you start that process. But decide before you drop in if this is a run-in or if it's a time where you're going to go for it.
Okay. And then when you make that decision, you need to stick with it.
Stick with it, man. So many times I have made the decision to do something because I visualized it. I have visualized it, and I'm rolling in like going, holy, this is crazy. No matter what happens right now, if a monkey falls out of the tree, I am doing this.
Yeah.
And that is Morgan talking about sharpening knives. That is a way you can sharpen that knife. You can build up a sharper, like, go for it button. And it is a good thing to have. It is also possible to have your go for it button too sharp, and you need to, like, work on some skills before you drop in and say I'm going for it. But it is amazing. Every little milestone, like, you guys just hit this thing that was bugging you. The next time you show up to a gap jump that's bugging you, it's gonna bug you less because you just accomplished that. Especially for you, not so much, because you just went last second, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you had, like, a bona fide mental block and you got over it. And the next time you approach something that intimidates you, you may not start this whole process over again. You might just trust yourself and do it.
Yeah. Okay. So for people then that feel like they're confident, I know I can do this. This is in my wheelhouse. I've got the skills. The trail speed is good. And you walk yourself through the feature. It's just a matter of of that inner conversation of visualizing it and then committing before you start in for the feature.
Yeah, that's your checklist right there. And if you check all those boxes and everything is lining up, all those things that you just listed off right there, then you're at the point where you make the decision before you drop in. But like if you can establish that checklist for yourself, you're gonna be like accomplishing so many things that scare you, and it's all about the process. Because like another thing we were talking about up there is that, you know, a lot of times people go, oh, this is ridiculous. Why is this so in my head? It's not ridiculous. Mountain biking is dangerous. Mountain biking is gnarly. It doesn't matter if it's a 70-foot canyon gap or a 17-foot gap over a ravine.
Or 5 miles from home or 1,000 miles from home.
Doesn't matter at all. You have to give credit to the thing that you're trying to do.
Okay.
It's all gnarly. And don't think like, oh, well, I was on Instagram this morning, I saw somebody do something gnarly, or I'm such a pussy. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anything that your brain tells you, well, bro, I'm not sure if we're ready for this, that's your survival instincts. And you want to keep those intact so you can ride mountain bikes in your 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. Get the fuck in here,
Yeah, Dave, get over here, dude.
I was just
You
slipping
just
out
hit
of
that
this.
thing perfect.
Slipping out of there.
Get out of here. This guy lands this thing silently.
Get out of here, get in here. Get out of here, you think you're not getting in here, get in here. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, it's not greasing it, it's silently landing.
Okay, everybody, so it's been done, greased, cleared, silent,
Silence.
as Dave likes to say. Use the right adjective.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cameron. Much appreciated, Dave. It's been awesome.
Thank you,
learning
bro.
to fly with you. Cameron, make sure you guys go check out his channel. It sounds like he might be doing a little bit of coaching and educational ride training, so reach out, send him a DM, go check out his channel and leave a comment if you'd like to go ride with Cam and learn for yourselves on how to overcome fear, do some tricks, little whip McNasties, whatever else you want to teach people. Reach out to Cam. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you out on the trails.